Welcome to rSlash fyoukaren, where everyone wants to speak to your manager. Our soccer ref didn't show up, so one of the moms on our team had her 9-year-old son referee for us. He had a whistle. And a completely adult woman on the other team argued with one of his calls and he yellow carded her in front of everyone and she had to sit in her car to calm down. And then down in the comments, we have a similar story from RW Danger. When my daughter was 13, she was reffing her first soccer game, which was a U10 boys game. One boy was particularly unskilled and made up for it with cheap pushes and rough play. My daughter repeatedly cautioned this kid, giving him every chance. She called several fouls, 2 of which were penalty kicks. Obvious fouls, but not quite worthy of a yellow card or a red card. The kid's dad was just verbally badgering her the whole time. She issued a sideline warning to the coach, which didn't work. This parent's behavior actually encouraged the kid to continue. So, after the kid's first foul after halftime, my daughter issued the kid a yellow card for persistent infringement. The coach gets the point and pulls the kid from the game. Now the dad is going extra nuts. He starts shouting and cursing. The ball goes out of bounds near to where the parents are sitting, and he's just crossing the verbal line. My daughter halts the throw-in and says, "Sir, you need to leave the field area." "Whatever, make me, little girl." My daughter picks up the ball and looks at her watch. "You have 5 minutes to be off of park property. If you're still here in 5 minutes, the game is over, and by the way, your team is down 2 goals courtesy of your son's penalty kicks. So it'll be a loss for your team. It's your choice." She carries the ball back to the midfield, looks at her watch, and waits. The dad tries to grandstand, but the other dads and his wife literally bust his balls and make him leave. Once he leaves, my daughter says to the parents, "This game will continue, and I expect to see sportsmanship from players, coaches, and parents." There were no more issues, and it was the quietest half of youth soccer that I ever saw. In the end, it ended up as a 3-3 tie since Mr. Yellowcard spent the rest of the game on the bench, and his team was far better without him. A couple of people were doubting OP's story, and then Handy Spaniard adds this. "For those skeptical, I took the soccer referee certification course and reffed a few games when I was 15 to 16. And this situation is exactly how they suggest you deal with persistently aggressive parents. You pick up the ball and you inform the coach that the game will not continue until the parent leaves the field. It doesn't happen often, but it's a very effective way to deal with a parent who's being a dick, since it directs the ire of everyone on the field at that one person. It no longer becomes a battle of will between 2 people. It's usually 70-1, and they get berated into leaving so the kids can keep playing." This next post was posted to Facebook by an actual honest-to-God Karen. "Lol, today some Asian lady actually had the audacity to put on her face mask and go towards the other sidewalk to avoid me, a white woman, who definitely does not have this virus. Nice job, lady. You started this." I don't even understand the logic of these. Even if the coronavirus is racist and only hangs out with Asian people, then wouldn't Karen like it that this woman put on her mask and went to the other side of the street? This Karen is so unbelievably wrong, but even if she were correct, her logic still doesn't make any frickin' sense. Does she think that white people are immune to the virus just because they're white? Like some coronavirus is just floating through the air and is like, "Ooh, white people, no thanks." Posted by Karen Fleshman. Karen is not a slur. It's a stereotype that white women earn by raising monsters, voting for monsters, and behaving like monsters. Our behavior is so atrocious to everyone except us that our own children are making memes and videos mocking us. Hey, I'm not a kid. Can someone assist me? Auto reply, "Thank you for inquiring about your tattoo. To help us deal with this as efficiently as possible, please make sure you've included as much information as possible. This includes size, placement, style, and attach any reference pictures you might have. Please note that we will not copy someone else's tattoo, but it does help to show us pictures similar to what you would like. We'll be in contact with you as soon as we have time to deal with your design. Good morning. I would like to make a complaint to your manager. I tried to gain access to your premises last night to make a booking for my partner and myself to be tattooed. We were told that it was not possible and that we would not be booked for our chosen date of Tuesday, the 1st of December. My partner and I have been thinking about this tattoo for over a year. The young man at the door was terribly curt with us. When I asked to speak to the manager, he told us he was the owner. I find this very hard to believe, as he had a large tattoo on the side of his head. I would appreciate a reply from the manager only, and if this is not to my satisfaction, I will be taking things further. Yours, a male Karen. Ah, Mr. Karen, I've been expecting your message. I'm David, and I am the owner of the studio. But what is ownership anyways, and for that matter, the title of manager? Are they not just man-made constraints imposed by the naive and insecure, desperate to find meaning in their otherwise directionless existence? It was me you spoke to last night, so thank you for the young man compliment. I'll make sure my wife and daughters take note of this. You were denied entry for several reasons, which I'll list below. 1. You tried to get in even though the door was clearly locked. Thank you for checking the strength of the hinges. I've been meaning to do that for quite some time. 2. You tried to push past me as I opened the door, which was rude to say the least. 3. We require everyone entering the studio to wear a mask and to do so correctly. Since your nose was drooped over the top of your mask like a flaccid penis, hopefully peeking out of a worn pair of Y fronts, I judge this to be incorrect and yet slightly arousing. 4. It was 7:45 in the evening. 5. We were effing closed! I told you that it wasn't possible to book you in for the 1st of December since we're required, by law, as of 6 p.m. this Friday, to close for 3 weeks. If you and your partner, she's clearly a lucky woman if the way that you wear your mask is anything to go by, really have been thinking about these tattoos for over a year, then might I suggest that another few weeks isn't too long. As for your comment about me not possibly being the owner since I have a tattoo on the side of my head, what the F do you expect to see on a tattooist? I trust this reply will be anything but to your satisfaction, so I look forward to you taking it further. And for context here, Nicola Sturgeon is the Prime Minister of Scotland. Nicola Sturgeon seems to have her hands full at the moment. Also, Glasgow City Council will probably tell you to shove it right up your butt. At least they do whenever I try to contact them. Might I suggest a couple of alternatives? Carol Baskin, who's actually a friend of the studio, seems to be great at solving problems. You know what I'm talking about. Then he shares the following emojis. Winky face, couple holding hands, tiger emoji, dinner plate with forks, and then a skull. John Kreese is a man of authority, although telling Johnny to sweep the leg was probably excessive. I think you'll like his no mercy mantra though. If you really are considering grassing me up, then the best thing to do is tell my mom. She's the slightly haunted and disappointed woman you can see wandering around, muttering sadly about her son with a tattoo on the side of his head. I am not having this at all! What a disgusting way to speak to people! I can't imagine you'll be in business much longer. My partner and I will be taking our custom tattoo elsewhere. Sorry, this isn't how this works. You're clearly new to our page. What happens is, you send me a sucky message and I put you in your place, at times being mildly funny and or amusing. Then I screenshot it and post it on my Facebook page. Sorry for any confusion, so F off. What sort of way is this to conduct your business? I shall be in contact with the relevant authorities as you are certainly not allowed to block access to your parlor or refuse service. Although I'm now sure that we won't be requiring your services. Is it only now that you're sure that you won't be requiring our services? As a licensed premises, we can refuse entry to anyone for any reason. In other words, it's our ball and you're not playing. We're always nice and courteous to people when they make inquiries, even if it's something we hear about all the time. We get that not everyone is as versed in tattoo stuff as we are, and that's why we're here to help and do awesome tattoos. In your case, however, you've been an effing doober from the start and will be treated as such for as long as you continue to do so. And now, I bid you a fond farewell, adieu, bon voyage, and a hearty bite my banger. Does anyone else feel like the Scottish are literally the best in the world at angry rants? I don't know why, but whenever a Scottish person gets angry, it's just fascinating to listen to. Bite my banger? What does that even mean? If I had to guess, a banger is something that you bang a lass with, so that would mean his male member. So, does this insult mean bite my dick? Do I have any Scottish fans out there who are familiar with this slang? Because if so, please let me know in the comments. I'm really curious. Tweet by Joe Biden. I won't be president until January 20th, but my message today to everyone is this: wear a mask. No, no, no. I will not let anybody inject microbes into my body. They've been proven to develop and become GPS signals so the government can track you. This is all one massive hoax. Do not take the vaccine. Yeah, because wearing a mask means you get injected with microbes. Also, the best thing about this post is at the bottom it says, posted to Twitter with my iPhone, which itself is a GPS tracker, which of course is posted on Twitter, which itself tracks its users. Heads up, snowflakes! From here on out, I'm banning all liberals from my Facebook feed. You scum crybabies are literally trying to steal this election from the greatest president in history. So I'm banning you all. F off, lib scum. We ain't friends no more. Just a friendly reminder, 6 months ago when you were in the hospital for 2 weeks, a lot of your liberal friends, including me, donated to your GoFundMe page so you wouldn't lose your apartment. Delete this or I'm banning you right now, shamelessly exposing my medical history. Get the F off of here. Also, under 4 more years of the Trump administration, you would almost certainly lose the very healthcare provided graciously by President Obama that paid for your hospital visit since you're low income. I'm suing you. Look, love Trump or hate Trump, whatever. I don't want to get too political with this video. But to actually argue that Donald Trump is the greatest president in history? Is this guy actually arguing that Donald Trump is better than Abraham Lincoln? The guy who won the Civil War, united the nation, and abolished slavery? Or, George Washington, that guy who sort of freed us from British oppression? The guy who was so beloved by the people of America that they wanted to make him their king, but instead he insisted on a democracy? You're saying Donald Trump is better than those presidents? Review 1 star. They wanted us to wear a mask. They wouldn't serve us. My older 2 children could understand why they wouldn't serve us. What was heartbreaking was hearing my youngest tell me that she was excited to try their apple pie gelato and get turned away all because she wasn't wearing a mask. She sat quietly during the car ride, sad and confused. We all decided to go to Brahms and they treated us very well. Well, that just goes to show you, head on down to Brahms for COVID-covered ice cream. What makes this post so bad isn't that this lady isn't wearing a mask. I mean, that's kind of common, we see that all the time nowadays. No, what was really bad was that after this company refused service, Karen decided that her pride was more important than her own daughter. I mean, her daughter could have tried the apple pie gelato if she had just put on a mask. Like, imagine being so insanely selfish that you're not willing to put on a mask just to make your own daughter happy. Karen, your daughter wasn't sitting sad and confused in the back of your car because they refused to serve her. She was sitting there sad and confused because you weren't willing to compromise your pride to satisfy her needs. I got dumped for having red hair. My boyfriend's mom didn't want to risk having ginger grandkids, so she made him dump me. He married a blonde and had 2 ginger kids. Karma! My kids are blonde. Alright, I'm gonna overlook this weird racism for a moment because the real star of this story is why this guy dumped this girl. I would have loved to have heard that breakup conversation. I'm sorry, sweetie, but we can't be together anymore because my mommy's making me dump you. Girl, I think you dodged a bullet with that one. Dear anonymous passerby, don't worry, you're safe now. Your act of casual cruelty was successful. The complaint you lodged with the HOA was heard. They had me take down the small tree fort that I built on this location with my sons during the pandemic. No longer will its presence offend your walk past my house. Please enjoy your stroll free from the sound of my children's play and laughter. They're safely back inside now, watching television, I'm sure. Enjoy the unobstructed view of my backyard. I'll try to keep it up to code. Best, Dave. This post, and dozens of other posts like it, are why I will never, ever buy a house that's part of an HOA. Why on earth would people buy a house and agree to let the handful of Karens down the street control what they do with their own property? Me and this little old Mexican lady were talking in Spanish, and this old white lady in a wheelchair said, "We're in America, why don't you speak English?" And the little Mexican lady told her, "You have legs, why don't you walk?" I nearly died. I gave her free coffee. Karen should know not to mess with Mexican grandmas. She's lucky she didn't get La Chancla. Karen makes this next post on Facebook. My 3-year-old is not vaccinated and there's currently a measles outbreak in my state. Any suggestions for precautions I can take to protect her would be very much appreciated. And the replies to this Karen's Facebook comment were absolutely brutal. Bring her to the edge of the flat earth. The air is cleaner there. Have you tried thoughts and prayers? Build a wall around her and make the vaccinated people pay for it. Sending my thoughts and prayers. Did you try sharing her picture on Facebook with the caption 1 like equals 1 prayer? These are stupid suggestions. None of these things will work. Why doesn't Karen try crystals and essential oils? That was rSlash fyoukaren, and if you like this content, then check out my Patreon where I publish episodes that were banned from YouTube. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.